Welcome back, Focus learners, to another explainer. Today we're looking way beyond the raised umbrella and that little portable microphone to explore the surprisingly rigorous, absolutely fascinating world of tour guiding. You might think leading a tour is just about, walking backwards and reciting a bunch of dates, but as we're going to unpack today, you'll see it's actually this wild, complex blend of psychology, survival skills, and sheer showmanship.
Actually, there's a pretty great joke by Pun Booth that sums this whole thing up perfectly. Guided tours, because I can't Google while walking. Right? It perfectly captures why we actually hire guides in the first place. Let's be honest, travel is just way better with a little humor sprinkled in between the landmarks. And the best guides don't just lead us through city streets or mountain trails, they lead us straight into unexpected laughs and genuine human connection.
Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to map out this entire profession in 5 clear steps. We'll start with the historical roots, clarify some confusing industry jargon, break down the 10 different types of guides, examine your ultimate toolkit, and finally, look at the roadmap and salary expectations for becoming a professional guide. Section 1. History of the tour guide. From cicerones to ambassadors. So, interestingly enough, the origin of the word itself has some pretty deep roots. According to Pun Booth, the word tour actually comes from the Latin word tornere, which literally means to turn or to go in circles. So technically speaking, a tour is just a really fancy way of saying you're going in circles. I guess tour guides have literally been making circular jokes for centuries now.
Let's look at how this whole profession built up over time. Back during the Renaissance, young European aristocrats taking what they called the Grand Tour would hire local scholars, known as cicerones, to explain art and history to them. Then, the Industrial Revolution changed everything. In 1841, a British entrepreneur named Thomas Cook organized the very first package tour. This was huge because it made travel accessible to the masses and established guiding as an actual bona fide profession. Today, that role has evolved into the modern cultural ambassador, someone who acts as this vital bridge between eager tourists and local communities.
Section 2. Guide or Tour Manager, clarifying the roles.
If you have ever found yourself totally confused by the industry jargon, understanding this exact distinction, which was laid out by industry professionals on the Rick Steves Travel Forum, is absolutely crucial. See, a tour manager, sometimes called a tour director, is the logistical mastermind. They actually travel with the group from place to place over multiple days, handling the whole shebang: hotels, transport, emergencies, you name it. A tour guide, on the other hand, is your hyper-localized expert. They're the ones who take you around a specific city or a historical site for a few hours, giving you that deep historical and cultural context. But they generally don't travel with the group overnight.
And honestly, whether we're relying on a manager for all those logistics or a guide for the history, this quote really hits the nail on the head when it comes to the tourist mindset. I go on tours to learn things and avoid thinking. We rely on these amazing professionals so we can just completely immerse ourselves in the experience without sweating the small stuff. Section 3. 10 types of tour guides. Finding your niche.
According to Holistic Training, there are 10 major types of guides out there in the wild. You've got your historical guides and museum docents dealing with the past. Then you have adventure and nature experts surviving the wilderness. And of course, specialized roles like language-specific interpreters, park guides, customized freelance guides, culturally immersive guides, and those deeply rooted local navigators. So, looking at these different audiences and environments, which of these 10 guides would you be? Would you rather be confidently navigating the Louvre or, whitewater rafting in Costa Rica?
Section 4. The Ultimate Guide Toolkit, Skills for Success.
The absolute foundation of this toolkit is soft skills. A guide can memorize every single date in human history, but without storytelling and humor, it's just going to be a dry lecture. They need immense flexibility to handle sudden weather changes or annoying delays, razor-sharp interpersonal skills to manage completely diverse group dynamics, and deep cultural sensitivity to act as a respectful bridge between the tourists and the locals. Honestly, these skills are exactly what elevate a basic walk into a truly memorable journey.
And this brilliantly illustrates the flip side, the hard skills. Depending on their specific niche, a guide's technical toolkit is incredibly varied. An adventure guide needs real wilderness survival and first aid certifications to, literally save lives. Independent guides need deep knowledge of tour planning, logistics, marketing, and promotion. And interestingly, as noted by Slide Team, guides and operators frequently need to know how to craft detailed PowerPoint presentations for pre-trip briefings or for training new staff. It really is a true hybrid career.
But that toolkit has to constantly evolve because the industry is facing some major new challenges.
As reported in Travel Tomorrow, the modern guide must adapt to the massive rise of AI and digital tools to enhance rather than replace personal engagement. They're also increasingly tasked with being on-the-ground environmental caretakers, actively enforcing leave-no-trace policies to manage tourism's impact. Plus, there's an ongoing, absolutely crucial industry dialogue about ensuring fair wages and job security for these really vital workers.
Before we look at how you might actually enter this demanding field, let's take a quick breath with one more pun. My tour guide walks fast because humor is their cardio. I mean, you definitely need the physical stamina to keep up with the daily demands of the job, and for sure a really good sense of humor to deal with the sore feet at the end of the day.
Section 5. Becoming a professional guide. The roadmap.
So how does someone officially enter this profession? Well, here is the sequenced career path. Step 1 is gaining that education and deep subject matter knowledge. That might be a formal university degree in history or just intense self-study. Step 2 involves getting official certifications. For example, the Institute of Tourist Guiding issues specific color-coded badges. You've got blue badges for comprehensive guiding, green for regional walking tours, and white for specific fixed routes or sites. And finally, Step 3 is all about gaining practical experience, usually by shadowing industry veterans and building up a solid network.
Now you might be wondering, what about the compensation? According to Indeed data, the average annual base salary for a tour guide in the United States is $28,312. However, it's absolutely crucial to understand that this is just the base. Because guiding is a highly seasonal job and heavily reliant on passenger tips and specialized freelance fees, a guide's actual take-home pay can fluctuate wildly from this single data point. To really showcase the global economic variance in this profession, data from Online Courses Australia shows that down under, tour guides can expect to earn between $55,000 and $75,000 Australian dollars annually. To put that into perspective, this contrast clearly illustrates how things like location, seasonal demand, and regional tourism structures heavily influence a guide's overall earning potential.
As we wrap up this explainer, let's circle back to the core identity we've really uncovered today. A tour guide is a storyteller with a map. They aren't just walking encyclopedias. They are the essential cultural bridges that make the entire global travel ecosystem actually function. They're the ones turning an unfamiliar, foreign place into a vibrant, living story for us.
So, after exploring the rich history, the incredibly varied roles, the complex toolkit, and the professional roadmap, I want to leave you with this. Are you ready to take the scenic route to your new career? Or, at the very least, are you ready to tip your next guide just a little bit more? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Focused learners, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next one.